Rain was falling hard that night. Not small rain. It hits the ground like stones, splashing dirty water everywhere. Sabrina stood at the gate of the house she once called home. Her small suitcase lay open on the wet tiles because the security man had pushed it out like trash. Her belly was big. 7 months pregnant. Her eyes were red from crying. Her lips were shaking. Her whole body was shaking too because she was cold and because her heart was breaking at the same time. Inside the compound, under the bright security light, Uche stood with his arms folded. He did not look like a husband. He looked like a stranger. Behind him, Gift stood like a queen. She wore a shiny red dress that clung to her body, and her wig was long and perfect, like she was going to a party, not ruining someone's life. Gift leaned close to Uche's ear and whispered something. Uche's face turned harder. He pointed at Sabrina like she was a problem. "Leave this place," he said, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "I don't want you here again." Sabrina's throat tightened. "Uche," she begged, "please, I'm your wife. I'm carrying your baby. I just buried my father." Uche cut her off. "Your father is dead," he snapped. "And now your problems have come to sit on my head. I'm not doing it again." Sabrina's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" she asked, voice small. Gift laughed softly and flipped her hair. "Ah, Sabrina," Gift said, smiling like a snake. "You didn't hear. This house is not a charity." Sabrina turned to Uche, confused. "Uche, what is she doing here? Why are you listening to her?" Sabrina asked. Uche walked closer, until his shadow covered her face. Then he said the words that made her heart almost stop. "You are a burden, Sabrina. And I'm done pretending." Sabrina felt weak. She held her belly with both hands, like she was holding her baby tight so the baby would not feel the pain. "Please," she whispered again. "Just let me stay tonight. The rain is too much. I can sleep in the store. I won't disturb you." Gift's smile grew wider. "Sleep in the store?" Gift repeated loud. "In the same house where I will now be living as Madam." Sabrina blinked. She thought she did not hear well. "Madam?" Sabrina repeated slowly. Uche's eyes did not move. "Yes," he said. "Gift is moving in. And I'm marrying her." The gate area went silent, like even the rain was shocked. Sabrina's mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Then her voice finally broke out. "Marry her," she cried. "Uche, I am your wife." Uche's face twisted. "You are my mistake," he said. "I married you when I thought your father had money. But what did I gain?" "Nothing." Sabrina froze. So that was it. That was why. He never loved her. He only loved what he thought her father could give. Sabrina's tears rushed down. "My father is dead, yes," she said, shaking. "But does that mean you should throw me away like this?" Gift stepped forward and pointed at Sabrina's stomach. "Look at her belly," Gift said, loud again. "If she gives birth here, she will start saying hospital bills, baby things, naming ceremony. And you, Uche, you will suffer." Uche nodded, like Gift was speaking wisdom. Sabrina stared at him with pain. "Uche, when I was sick last month, who took care of me?" Sabrina asked. "When you lost your job before, who sold her phone to feed us? Was it Gift?" Uche's eyes flashed with anger because the truth hit him, but Gift did not allow him to think. Gift quickly held his arm and said softly, "Baby, don't listen to her. She is trying to use tears to tie you down." Uche turned sharp again. He faced the security man. "Oga Kunle," Uche shouted. "Open the gate and push her out completely. If she tries to come back, lock the gate and call the police." The security man looked at Sabrina's belly, then looked away with pity. "Oga," Kunle said slowly, "Madam is pregnant." Uche shouted, "I said push her out." Kunle obeyed. The gate opened. Cold wind rushed in. Sabrina stepped back as the heavy gate moved, and her slippers slipped on the wet floor. She almost fell, but she held herself quickly. Her heart was beating fast. She could hear it in her ears. Her life was falling apart, and as she stood outside the gate, the neighbors began to peep. A woman across the street whispered, "Is that not Sabrina? Why is she outside in the rain?" Another man said, "Ah, Uche is throwing her out, even with pregnancy." Gift smiled proudly because she loved attention. Sabrina felt shame burn her face. She wanted to disappear. She wanted the rain to swallow her. She lifted her suitcase with weak hands. Then she looked at Uche one last time. Uche, she said, voice trembling. If I leave here tonight, you will regret it. Gift burst into laughter. Regret? Gift repeated. What will he regret? That he removed a dead weight? Uche walked back inside like Sabrina did not exist. He didn't even look back. The gate began to close. Sabrina's heart sank as she watched it. This gate had welcomed her as a bride. Now it was closing on her like she was a thief. She stood outside, soaked, shaking, helpless. Then the gate finally slammed shut. Jabam! The sound echoed like a gunshot. Sabrina stared at the gate for 2 seconds. Then she turned and began to walk. 1 step, 2 steps. Her feet were heavy. Her belly pulled her body down. Rain slapped her face. And then, a sharp pain shot through her stomach. Sabrina froze. Her eyes widened. She held her belly tight. The pain hit again stronger. She bent down slowly. No, no, not now, she whispered. The baby kicked inside. Sabrina's breathing became quick. She looked around, panicking. The street was empty. The rain was too much. No taxi, no keke, no helper. And then, right there on that lonely street, Sabrina felt warm liquid run down her leg. Her eyes filled with terror. Please God, she cried, don't let me lose this baby. She banged the gate with her fist. Uche! Uche! She screamed, but inside the compound, loud music had started playing. Uche and Gift were already celebrating. Sabrina slid down to the ground slowly, holding her belly. She was alone, in the rain, in pain, and the biggest twist of all, in her bag, deep inside a brown envelope she had not opened since her father's burial, was a sealed letter with one line written boldly on top. To my daughter Sabrina, open only when I am gone. Sabrina's trembling hand reached for the envelope, when a black luxury car suddenly slowed down beside her, headlights flashing through the rain, and the back door began to open. The black luxury car stopped fully beside Sabrina. Its headlights cut through the rain like 2 sharp eyes. Sabrina could barely lift her head. Her hair was soaked and stuck to her cheeks. Her hands were shaking as she pressed her belly, trying to breathe through the pain. The back door opened slowly. A tall man stepped out, holding an umbrella. He wore a dark suit, even in the rain. His shoes were clean. His face looked serious, like he was not the kind of man who joked with life. Behind him, another man came out too. This one was older, maybe in his late 50s. He held a small flashlight and looked around the street like he was searching for danger. The tall man rushed closer. Madam Sabrina, he called. Sabrina blinked hard. How did he know her name? She tried to speak, but her voice was weak. Help! Me, she whispered. The tall man knelt beside her quickly, using the umbrella to cover her head and shoulders. My God, he said under his breath as he saw the blood on her leg. You're bleeding. We need to move now. Sabrina panicked. My baby, she cried. My baby. You will not lose your baby, the man said firmly, like he was commanding the rain itself. Not today. He turned and shouted to the driver. Open the front seat. Bring the medical kit. The older man hurried to the car and brought out a small box. Sabrina's eyes moved to the gate behind her, the gate of her home, the gate that had just rejected her. She wanted to scream again, but she had no strength. The pain hit her again. She cried out loudly, Ah! The tall man tightened his grip around her shoulders. Please, madam, focus on me, he said. Tell me, how many months pregnant are you? 7, she whispered, struggling. 7 months. He nodded once, calm but fast. Okay, we are going to a hospital now. He looked at the older man. Mr. Nwosu, call the private hospital. Tell them emergency. Tell them it is. He stopped himself, then looked at Sabrina's face again. Sabrina stared back, confused. Who are you? She managed to ask. The tall man's jaw tightened. My name is Mr. Akin, he said. I work for your father. Sabrina froze. My father? She repeated, like her brain could not catch up. Yes, he said. Chief Emeka Okafor. Sabrina's heart jumped. Chief Emeka Okafor. Her father. But nobody called him Chief like that in her small life with Uche. Her father had always lived quietly, simple, calm, not loud, not flashy. Sabrina swallowed. Work. For my father? she asked again, weak. Mr. Aiken did not answer immediately. Instead, he carefully lifted her up, like she was glass, and helped her into the car. The older man held the umbrella over them as they moved. Inside the car, it smelled like leather and clean perfume rich people smell. Sabrina's head rested against the seat. Her eyes drifted to her bag, which had fallen beside her. And then she remembered. The brown envelope, the sealed letter. Her trembling hand slowly reached into the bag. Mr. Aiken saw it. His eyes changed. "Madam," he said quietly, "you have it." Sabrina looked at him, breathing fast. "I haven't opened it," she whispered. Mr. Aiken nodded slowly, like he already knew. "You were not supposed to open it until this moment," he said. The older man, Mr. Nwosu, spoke for the first time. "Madam Sabrina," he said gently, "your father planned for this day." Sabrina's eyes filled with tears. Planned? How could her father plan for her to be thrown out? The car moved quickly, wipers clearing rain off the windscreen. Sabrina held the envelope tight against her chest, like it was the only warm thing left in her life. She looked at Mr. Aiken again. "Why didn't my father tell me anything?" she asked. Mr. Aiken's face was calm, but his eyes looked heavy. "He tried," he said. "But he was protecting you." "From what?" Sabrina asked. Mr. Nwosu sighed. "From people who love money more than human beings," he replied. Sabrina's mind flashed to Uche, to Gift, to the way Uche had said, "I married you because I thought your father had money." Sabrina's throat tightened. "But my father, he didn't have money," she whispered. "He lived simple. He wore old sandals. He ate in my kitchen when he visited." Mr. Aiken looked at her like he was waiting for her to say that. "That was the point," he said. Sabrina blinked. "What point?" she asked. Mr. Aiken leaned slightly closer, his voice low so the driver would not even hear. "Your father was a billionaire," he said. "A very powerful one. But he hid it." Sabrina's whole body went stiff. Even the pain paused for 1 second because of the shock. "Billionaire?" she stammered. Mr. Nwosu nodded slowly. "Yes," he said. Chief Emeka Okafor owned Okafor Holdings. Oil, real estate, shipping, many companies. He was not just rich, he was feared. Sabrina shook her head fast. "No," she whispered. "No, that can't be true." Mr. Aiken didn't argue. He simply reached into his suit pocket and brought out a slim phone. He tapped and turned it toward her. On the screen was a news photo. A man in a white traditional outfit, surrounded by men in suits, cameras flashing, people bowing. The face was her father's face, but the setting was not the small life she knew. This was big. This was power. Below the photo was a headline, but Sabrina could not read well because her eyes were tearing up. She only saw one word clearly: billionaire. Sabrina's hand shook so hard the phone almost dropped. Her breathing became messy. That is my father," she cried softly. Mr. Aiken nodded. "He created a quiet life for you," he said. "He wanted you to be loved for who you are, not for what you have." Sabrina stared at the envelope. Her fingers pressed the seal. Her father's handwriting stared back at her like a ghost. "Open only when I am gone." Sabrina swallowed. "But why now?" she asked. "Why show me this now?" Mr. Nwosu answered. "Because your father expected betrayal," he said. "And he left a plan. He left instructions for us." The pain returned again. Sabrina groaned and held her belly. Mr. Aiken spoke quickly. "Madam, focus. Hospital first, letter later." Sabrina nodded weakly. Minutes later, the car pulled into a private hospital with bright lights. 2 nurses ran out with a wheelchair. A doctor followed behind them. Mr. Aiken stepped out and spoke to them in a firm voice. "Emergency," he said. "She's 7 months pregnant, bleeding. Treat her now." The doctor nodded quickly, like he understood that this was not an ordinary patient. Sabrina was rushed inside. A cold hospital smell filled her nose. They put her on a bed. They checked her blood pressure. They checked the baby. They moved fast. Sabrina lay there, crying quietly, not only because of pain, but because of the shock. Her father? A billionaire? If that was true, then everything Uche did was even more wicked. He threw her out because he thought her father was finished. But her father was not finished. Her father was just hidden. After what felt like a long time, the doctor returned. He looked serious, but not panicked. "The baby is alive," he said. The bleeding is from stress and a small tear. We will give you drugs to stop it. But you must rest. No more stress. Sabrina cried in relief. Thank you, she whispered. The doctor nodded. You are safe here, he added. When the doctor left, Mr. Akin entered the room with Mr. Nwosu. Mr. Akin placed the brown envelope on the bed beside Sabrina. Madam, he said gently, when you feel ready, you should read it. Sabrina stared at it. Her eyes were swollen. Her heart was still sore. But something else was growing inside her now too. A new feeling. Not fear. Not shame. Something stronger. Sabrina took the envelope with shaky hands. She broke the seal. Slowly, she pulled out the letter. The paper was thick, and it smelled like her father's old books. She began to read, her lips moving softly. My dear Sabrina, if you are reading this, it means I am gone. Do not cry too much. Death is part of life. But listen to me carefully. I hid my wealth because I wanted you to live a clean life. I wanted to know the hearts of people around you, especially the man you married. Sabrina's chest tightened. She continued, if your husband truly loves you, he will stay, even when he thinks you have nothing. But if he throws you away, then know this. He was never your home. I have left everything ready for you. You are the rightful heir of Okafor Holdings. My lawyers and trusted men will guide you. My first son, Obi, will find you and stand with you. Do not be afraid. Your name is not small. You are a lion's daughter. Sabrina covered her mouth. Tears poured out. Obi? First son? Her father had another child? Sabrina looked up quickly. Obi? She whispered. Mr. Nwosu nodded slowly. Yes, madam, he said. Your father had an elder son, a very responsible man. Sabrina's head spun. Her father never told her he had an elder son. Her whole life was opening like a door she never knew existed. She looked back at the letter and continued reading. Sabrina, I know you are gentle, but this world does not respect gentle people unless they stand strong. Stand strong, take what is yours, and protect your child. If you ever feel lost, look for Obi. He will not fail you. And one more thing. The people who hurt you will come back with sweet words. Don't fall for it. Let their actions speak, not their mouths. Sabrina stopped reading. Her hands were trembling. Her father knew. He knew everything. He knew Uche might betray her. He knew someone would try to use her. Sabrina looked at Mr. Akin with new eyes. So, what happens now? She asked, voice low. Mr. Akin straightened. Now, he said, you stop living like someone with no help. Mr. Nwosu smiled softly. Your father's will has already been filed, he said, but we needed to confirm your safety first. Sabrina swallowed. My husband, Uche. Does he know? She asked. Mr. Akin's face hardened. No, he said. Not yet. Sabrina stared at the ceiling, thinking of the rain, the gate, Gift's laughter, Uche's cold eyes. A slow fire started in her chest. Not the fire that destroys, the fire that wakes you up. She breathed out. Good, she said quietly. Mr. Akin lifted his brows. Sabrina turned her head and looked at them. I don't want him to know yet, she said. Not until I stand on my feet. Not until I'm ready. Mr. Nwosu nodded, impressed. That is wisdom, he said. Mr. Akin's phone rang suddenly. He stepped aside and answered. Yes? He said. His face changed. He looked back at Sabrina. Then he spoke into the phone again. Bring him in, he said. Sabrina's heart jumped. Who is it? She asked quickly. Mr. Akin ended the call. He looked at her with a strange expression, half relief, half seriousness. Madam, he said, someone is downstairs. Sabrina's mouth went dry. Who? She whispered. Mr. Akin replied, Obi Okafor. Sabrina's eyes widened. Her father's elder son, her brother. The door opened. A tall man walked in, wearing a black suit. He had calm eyes like her father. His face carried pain, like he had been crying, but he was trying to be strong. He stood still for 1 second, staring at Sabrina like he was seeing a miracle. Then he walked closer slowly. Sabrina, he said softly, his voice thick. Sabrina could not move. Obi's eyes dropped to her belly, then back to her face, and his voice broke. I found you, he whispered. I'm sorry I'm late. Sabrina's tears fell again. She didn't even know what to say. Obi stepped closer and gently held her hand. I promise you, he said, nobody will ever throw you out again. Sabrina squeezed his hand, crying. But just as the room filled with that emotional peace, a nurse suddenly rushed in, looking worried. "Sir," the nurse called to Mr. Aiken. "There are 2 people at reception causing trouble." Mr. Aiken frowned. "Who?" he asked sharply. The nurse swallowed. "Your husband," she said, looking at Sabrina, "and a young woman. They are demanding to see you." Sabrina's heart dropped. Obi's face turned cold like steel. Mr. Aiken's eyes narrowed. Sabrina wiped her tears slowly. "Uche. Gift. Here? How? And why now?" Sabrina's fingers tightened around the bedsheet as she whispered to herself. They already started crawling back. Sabrina's heart beat hard against her chest. Uche. The same man who threw her into the rain hours ago. Now he was downstairs, asking to see her. Obi released a slow breath. His calm face had changed. His eyes were no longer soft. They were sharp, like someone who had made a decision. "Did they say why they are here?" Obi asked the nurse. The nurse shook her head. "They are shouting," she replied. "The man says she is his wife. He says the hospital has no right to hide her." Mr. Aiken's jaw tightened. "Hide her?" he repeated. After he pushed her out like garbage, Sabrina felt her stomach twist, not from pain this time, but from anger. Gift's voice suddenly echoed faintly from the hallway outside, sharp and loud. "Where is she? Tell her husband to come and carry her home. She thinks she can disappear." Sabrina closed her eyes. Even her voice made her feel sick. Obi placed a gentle hand on Sabrina's arm. "Listen to me," he said softly. "You don't have to see them. One word from me, and they will be removed." Sabrina opened her eyes slowly. Her tears were gone. Something else was there now. Strength. "No," she said quietly. "I want to see him." Mr. Aiken turned sharply. "Madam, I want to see him," Sabrina repeated, stronger. "But not here. Not like this." Obi studied her face for a moment. Then he nodded. "Okay," he said, "but I will be there." Minutes later, Sabrina was wheeled into a small private visitor's room inside the hospital. The lights were calm. The room smelled clean. She sat upright on the bed, pillows behind her back. Obi stood beside her. Mr. Aiken stood near the door. Then the door opened. Uche walked in first. He looked different. His clothes were rushed on. His shirt buttons were not straight. His hair was rough, like he had been pulling it. The proud man from earlier was gone. Behind him, Gift followed slowly. Her red dress was gone. She now wore tight jeans and a sleeveless top. Her face was angry. Her lips were tight. Uche's eyes landed on Sabrina. For 1 second, guilt crossed his face. Then he rushed forward. "Sabrina!" he cried. "Oh, thank God you're okay." Sabrina did not respond. She did not smile. She did not move. Uche stepped closer, stretching his hand toward her. "Baby, I was worried," he said quickly. "Why didn't you call me? Why did you run away like that?" Sabrina stared at him. "Run away?" Obi stepped forward immediately. "Watch your words," Obi said coldly. Uche paused. He finally noticed Obi. "Who is this?" Uche asked, frowning. "I am her brother," Obi replied. Uche blinked. "Brother?" he repeated, confused. Gift scoffed loudly. "Brother from where?" she asked. "Is this another lie?" Sabrina finally spoke. Her voice was calm, but it cut deep. "I didn't run away, Uche," she said. "You threw me out." Uche swallowed. That was not what I meant," he said quickly. "I was angry. You know how stress can make someone talk." Sabrina tilted her head slightly. "So when you called me a burden," she asked softly, "was that also stress?" Uche opened his mouth. No words came out. Gift rolled her eyes. "Sabrina, let's not pretend," Gift said. "You were slowing him down, you know that." Sabrina looked at Gift calmly. "And now?" she asked. "Why are you here?" Uche rushed again. "I came to take you home," he said fast. "This hospital is expensive. You don't belong here. Let's go back and talk." Sabrina laughed. It was a soft laugh, but it shocked everyone. "Home?" she repeated. "Which home?" Uche pointed outside. "Our house," he said. "Where else?" Sabrina nodded slowly. "The same house where you said I was your mistake," she said. "The same house where you locked the gate on me in the rain. The same house where you planned to marry another woman." Uche's face burned. Gift snapped. Stop this drama, Gift shouted. Uche, let's go. This girl wants to disgrace us. Sabrina turned her eyes back to Uche. Is she your wife now? Sabrina asked quietly. Uche hesitated. Gift grabbed his arm. Yes, Gift said loudly. I am the one he chose, not you. Sabrina nodded again. Okay, she said simply. Uche panicked. No, wait, he said. It's not like that. Gift, calm down. He turned back to Sabrina. Listen, he said softly, lowering his voice. We can fix this. I was just confused. You know I still love you. Sabrina's heart did not move. Not even a little. You loved me yesterday? She asked. When my father was buried? When I was pregnant? When I begged in the rain? Uche's eyes dropped. I made a mistake, he whispered. Sabrina breathed in deeply. I also made a mistake, she said. I married someone who only loved me when he thought I had nothing to lose. Uche looked up sharply. What do you mean? He asked. Obi spoke then. You don't know? Obi said coolly. Uche frowned. Know what? Obi smiled faintly. About her father. Uche stiffened. Gift laughed again. Her father is dead and buried, Gift said. There's nothing to know. Sabrina's lips curved slightly. Yes, she said, he is dead. She paused. But he was not poor. The room went quiet. Uche stared at her. What are you saying? He asked slowly. Sabrina did not answer him directly. She looked at Obi. Obi nodded once. Then he turned to Uche. My name is Obi Okafor, he said. First son of Chief Emeka Okafor. Uche's eyes widened. Chief Okafor? He repeated. Gift's smile faded. Yes, Obi continued. Your wife's father. Uche shook his head. No, he said quickly. That's not possible. Sabrina reached for the brown envelope on the table beside her. She slid out one document. She pushed it toward Uche. Read, she said. Uche picked it up slowly. His hands trembled. As his eyes scanned the paper, his face changed. Shock, fear, regret. Gift leaned over to see. What is that? She asked sharply. Uche did not answer. His knees weakened slightly. Sabrina, he whispered. Sabrina looked at him with calm eyes. My father was a billionaire, she said clearly. He hid it to protect me. Gift gasped. No, she shouted. That's a lie. Obi spoke again. Okafor Holdings, he said. Oil, properties, accounts already secured. Gift's mouth dropped open. Uche's breathing became fast. His whole body shifted. He moved closer to Sabrina and dropped to his knees suddenly. I'm sorry, he cried. Please forgive me. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Sabrina watched him. This same man could not look at her when she begged earlier. Now he was on his knees. Gift screamed. Uche, she shouted. Stand up. Don't disgrace yourself. Uche ignored her. Sabrina, he begged. I was blind. I was manipulated. I still love you. Sabrina felt something break inside her. Not her heart. The last chain. She looked down at him. You didn't come because you love me, she said softly. You came because you found out who my father was. Uche shook his head desperately. That's not true. Sabrina lifted her hand slightly. Yesterday, she said, you told me to leave with my pregnancy. Today you want to carry me home. She leaned forward slightly. What changed? Uche opened his mouth. No answer came. Gift burst into tears of anger. You tricked me, Gift shouted at Sabrina. You pretended to be poor. Sabrina looked at her. I pretended nothing, she replied. You only saw what you wanted. Obi stepped forward. This conversation is over, he said firmly. My sister needs rest. Uche grabbed Sabrina's hand suddenly. Please, he cried. I will do anything. Sabrina gently removed her hand. No, she said quietly. Uche froze. No, he repeated. Sabrina nodded. No, she said again. Not now. Obi signaled the security. 2 guards entered. Escort them out, Obi said calmly. Uche screamed. Sabrina, don't do this to me. Gift cursed loudly as she was dragged away. Sabrina closed her eyes. Her heart was heavy, but also free. After they left, the room went silent. Obi turned to her. You were strong, he said. Sabrina nodded slowly. But this is not over, she said. Obi smiled slightly. No, he agreed. It's just beginning. Mr. Aiken's phone rang again. He answered. Yes? He paused. Then he looked at Sabrina. Madam, he said, the board meeting has been fixed. Sabrina's eyes opened. Board meeting? She asked. Yes, he replied. Your father's company, Obi added quietly, and Uche has no idea what is coming next. I'd. Sabrina placed her hand on her belly. Her baby moved gently. She whispered to herself, this time, I will not be small. Morning came slowly. Soft light entered the hospital room through the curtains. Birds chirped outside, but Sabrina was already awake. She lay on the bed quietly, one hand resting on her belly. Her baby kicked gently. It felt like a reminder. I am here. Be strong. Sabrina smiled faintly. So much had happened in one night that it felt like a dream. The rain, the pain, the envelope, the truth. Uche on his knees, Gift screaming. And now, a board meeting. Her phone buzzed. It was Obi. Good morning, little sister. How are you feeling? Sabrina typed slowly. I'm okay, nervous, but ready. The reply came almost immediately. That's normal. Daddy used to say, fear means something important is coming. We'll pick you up in 2 hours. Sabrina put the phone down. She breathed in deeply. 2 hours. In 2 hours, she would walk into her father's world, the world he hid from her. By late morning, Sabrina was discharged from the hospital. She was still weak, but the doctor allowed her to leave under strict instructions. No stress, the doctor warned. If you feel dizzy or tired, you stop. Obi nodded seriously. Nothing will stress her, he said. I promise. Outside the hospital, a line of black luxury cars waited. Sabrina stopped walking. She stared. All her life, she had entered buses, taxis, Okada, Keke. This was different. Obi noticed her pause. These cars have always been around, he said gently. You just didn't know they were for you. Asian Anta. Sabrina swallowed. A female assistant rushed forward. Good morning, madam, she said politely. Please, allow me. She opened the back door of the first car. Sabrina hesitated for half a second. Then she lifted her chin and stepped in. The door closed softly. As the car moved, she watched the city pass by through tinted glass. Lagos looked the same, yet different. People were rushing to work. Hawkers were shouting. Buses were honking. Nobody knew that a woman who was thrown into the rain last night was now heading to sit among powerful men. Sabrina placed her hand on her belly. We are doing this together, she whispered. The car stopped in front of a tall glass building. It touched the sky. Sabrina looked up slowly. Her breath caught. This is my father's? She asked. Obi nodded. Head office, he replied. Okafor Holdings. Security men rushed forward and bowed slightly. Good morning, sir. They greeted Obi. Then they turned to Sabrina. Good morning, madam. Madam. The word hit her chest. Inside, the building was cold and shiny. Marble floors, tall pillars, men and women in suits walking fast. As Sabrina walked beside Obi, whispers followed her. Is that her? That's the daughter? She looks so young. She's pregnant. Sabrina heard everything. Her heart beat fast, but she kept walking. Inside the elevator, Obi leaned closer. Some of them doubted Daddy's decision, he said quietly. Some wanted control. Sabrina looked at him. And you? She asked. Obi smiled softly. I just wanted you safe. The elevator opened. They stepped into a large boardroom. Long table, leather chairs. About 12 people were already seated. When Sabrina entered, all eyes turned. The room fell silent. An elderly man stood up. Good morning, he said. We were waiting. Sabrina nodded politely. Good morning, she replied. She sat beside Obi at the head of the table. Her hands trembled slightly under the table. She placed one hand on her belly to calm herself. The elderly man cleared his throat. As you all know, he began. Chief Emeka Okafor left his estate to his daughter, Sabrina Okafor, with shared management responsibilities alongside his first son, Obi Okafor. Some faces were calm, others were tight. A man with sharp eyes leaned forward. With due respect, he said, she is young, and she is pregnant. How can she handle this responsibility? Sabrina felt heat rush to her face. Obi was about to speak, but Sabrina raised her hand gently. I will answer, she said. The room went quiet again. She looked around the table. I know I look small to you, she said calmly. I know you are wondering why my father chose me. She paused. My father taught me something, she continued. He said, power is not noise. Power is wisdom. Some people shifted in their seats. I am not here to fight anyone, Sabrina said. I am here to learn and to protect what my father built. She took a breath. And let me be clear, she added, I will not be bullied because I am pregnant. Silence. The sharp-eyed man leaned back slowly. The elderly man nodded. Well said, he said. The meeting continued. Numbers were discussed. Plans were mentioned. Sabrina listened carefully. She did not pretend to know everything. She asked questions. Smart questions. By the end of the meeting, something had changed. Respect. Not fully, but enough. As they stood up, Obi leaned toward her. You did well, he whispered. Sabrina smiled slightly, but deep inside, she knew. This was only the beginning. Across town, Uche paced back and forth in his small sitting room. He had not slept. Gift sat on the sofa, arms folded, eyes burning. So now what? Gift snapped. Your poor wife is suddenly rich. Uche ran his hands through his hair. She tricked us, Gift continued bitterly. She pretended to be nothing. Uche stopped. Enough, he said. Gift laughed harshly. You're angry because you lost your chance, she said. You could have been married to a billionaire's daughter. Uche turned sharply. I am still married to her, he shouted. Gift stood up. Not for long, she said coldly, because I'm not staying with a man who kneels to another woman. Uche stared at her. You can leave, he said quietly. Gift's mouth dropped open. What? She shouted. You heard me, Uche replied. Pack your things. Gift's face twisted with rage. You think she will take you back? She screamed. After everything? Uche did not answer, because deep down, he knew the truth. Sabrina was changing, and she was slipping out of his control. That evening, Sabrina arrived at a large, quiet mansion. The gates opened smoothly. Green lawns, tall trees, peace. This was your father's private home, Obi said. He wanted you here. Inside, the house felt warm. Not cold. Not scary. Like her father was still around. Sabrina walked slowly through the living room. She touched the furniture. She touched the walls. Tears filled her eyes. He was here, she whispered. Obi nodded. Yes, he said. He waited for you here many times. Sabrina sat on a couch and finally allowed herself to cry. Not loud cries. Soft ones. Healing ones. Later that night, she stood on the balcony, looking at the stars. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. Hello? She said. Sabrina, a voice said softly. Her body stiffened. Uche, please don't hang up, he begged. Just listen. Sabrina closed her eyes. You have 1 minute, she said. I made the biggest mistake of my life, Uche said quickly. Gift is gone. I sent her away. I want to fix us. Sabrina breathed slowly. Fix what? She asked. Our marriage, he said. Our family. Sabrina's voice was calm. You broke it, she replied. In the rain. I was blind, Uche cried. I didn't know who you were. Sabrina opened her eyes. That's the problem, she said. You only see value in money. That's not true, he protested. Sabrina sighed. My father warned me, she said. He said you would come back with sweet words. Uche went silent. I need time, Sabrina added. Don't call me again. She hung up. Her hands shook slightly, but she felt free. Inside a dark office somewhere in the city, 2 men sat quietly. One pushed a file across the table. Inside was Sabrina's picture. Pregnant, calm, powerful. She's rising too fast, the first man said. The other nodded slowly. If she takes full control, he said, some people will lose everything. The first man leaned back. Then she must be stopped, he said. Outside, thunder rolled softly in the sky. Back at the mansion, Sabrina slept peacefully for the first time in days. She did not know that while she was finding her strength, someone else was planning her fall. The night breeze moved gently through the mansion curtains. Sabrina lay on her bed, one hand on her belly, the other on her chest. Sleep came slowly, but her heart was calm. For the first time in many years, she was not afraid. She did not know that far away, in a quiet office, men were planning against her. But destiny was already ahead of them. The next morning, Obi entered Sabrina's room quietly. She was already awake, reading a small notebook. "Good morning," he said softly. "Good morning," she replied with a smile. But Obi did not smile back. "Sabrina," he said, sitting down, "we need to talk." Her smile faded. "What is it?" she asked. Obi took a breath. "Some people in the company are not happy," he said. "They think you are too young, too new." Sabrina nodded slowly. "I expected that," she said. "They are planning something," Obi continued. "We don't know exactly what yet." Sabrina was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, "Do you trust them?" Obi shook his head. "No," he replied, "but I trust you." Sabrina stood up slowly and walked to the window. She looked outside at the bright morning sun. "Then let them come," she said calmly. Obi looked at her in surprise. "Sabrina, I won't run anymore," she said. "I've run enough in my life." She turned to him. "My father hid me to protect me," she continued. "But now I must stand." Obi smiled faintly. "You sound like him," he said. 2 days later, an emergency board meeting was called. Sabrina was informed early in the morning. "Some documents have gone missing," one of the directors said over the phone. "We need your presence immediately." Obi frowned when he heard. "This smells wrong," he said. Sabrina nodded. "They want to trap me," she replied. "Then don't go," Obi said firmly. Sabrina shook her head. "No," she said, "this is exactly where I must go." She dressed simply but neatly. No heavy makeup, no loud clothes, just confidence. As she entered the boardroom, the atmosphere was heavy. The same sharp-eyed man from before stood up. "Madam," he said, pretending to be respectful, "some serious allegations have come up." Sabrina sat down calmly. "I'm listening," she said. He dropped a file on the table. "These documents suggest funds were moved without approval," he said. "And the timing matches when you joined management." The room murmured. Sabrina looked at the file. Then she looked up. "Is that all?" she asked. The man hesitated. "Yes," he said. "That is serious enough." Sabrina nodded slowly. "Okay," she said. "Then let's clear it." She turned to Obi. "Please," she said. Obi stood and connected a flash drive to the screen. The screen lit up. "What you are seeing," Sabrina said calmly, "is the full record of every transaction in the past 6 months." The sharp-eyed man stiffened. Sabrina continued. "My father prepared this system before his death," she said. "Every move is recorded. Nothing is hidden." She pressed a button. Names appeared on the screen. Amounts. Dates. The room went silent. The sharp-eyed man's name appeared. Multiple times. Large sums. Moved secretly. Gasps filled the room. Sabrina stood. "You accused me," she said softly. "But the truth has its own voice." Security entered the room quietly. The elderly chairman stood up. "This meeting is adjourned," he said firmly. "Those involved will answer to the law." The sharp-eyed man tried to speak, but no words came out. As security led him away, the boardroom was silent. Then, applause. Not loud, but respectful. Obi looked at Sabrina with pride. "You just saved the company," he whispered. Sabrina sat down slowly. Her legs trembled slightly, but she did not fall. News spread fast, very fast. By evening, Uche had heard everything. He sat alone in his room, staring at his phone. Billionaire's daughter takes full control. Corrupt directors exposed. Sabrina Okafor emerges strong. He dropped the phone. Tears filled his eyes. He remembered the rain, the gate, her begging. He remembered how he chose greed. Now greed had eaten him alive. He picked up his phone and typed a message. "Sabrina, I see now. I'm truly sorry." The message stayed unread. Weeks passed. Sabrina's belly grew bigger. Her strength grew stronger. She worked carefully, not too hard, listening to doctors and Obi. She learned. She listened. She led. The company stabilized. Employees felt safe. People respected her calm strength. One afternoon, Sabrina sat in her father's private garden. She held a cup of tea. Obi joined her. "Do you ever miss the old life?" he asked. Sabrina thought for a moment. "Yes," she said honestly. "I miss the simple days." Obi smiled. "But you don't regret this," he said. "No," she replied. "Because I found myself." One morning, Sabrina received a letter. It was from Uche. He had lost his job. Gift had left him completely. He was struggling. The letter was full of regret. Sabrina read it quietly. Then she folded it. "What will you do?" Obi asked gently. Sabrina looked at her belly. "I won't go back," she said. "But I won't destroy him either." She instructed her lawyer to settle the house issue legally and fairly. No revenge, just justice. When Uche received the court notice, he broke down, not because of punishment, but because he finally understood. He had lost something priceless. One quiet night, Sabrina felt the pain again, but this time it was different. "It's time," she whispered. The mansion became busy. Doctors arrived. Obi stayed close. Hours later, a cry filled the room. A strong cry. A baby girl. The nurse smiled. "She's healthy," she said. Sabrina cried softly. Tears of joy. Tears of healing. She held her daughter close. "Welcome," she whispered. "You will never beg in the rain." Obi smiled through tears. "She looks like Daddy," he said. Sabrina laughed softly. Weeks later, during a naming ceremony at the mansion, Sabrina stood before friends, staff, and family. She held her daughter proudly. "My father once wrote me a letter," she said. "He told me I was a lion's daughter." She looked at her baby. "Today," she continued, "I pass that strength to my child." She smiled. "This is not a story of revenge," she said. "It is a story of truth." People applauded, not because of wealth, but because of courage. One evening, Sabrina drove past her old street. The gate where she was once thrown out stood there. She asked the driver to stop. She looked at it quietly. Then she smiled, not with anger, with peace. She placed her hand on her chest. "I survived," she whispered. The car moved on, and the rain never followed her again. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos.